Hello, sixth graders. Today we're going to be learning how to simplify fractions. So what I need you to do is open up to the next blank page in your journal and write the title at the top, Simplifying Fractions. Don't forget to put it in your table of contents also. So go ahead and pause here if you need to do that. All right, let's start. Let's look at our first example of a fraction, 8/10. So I want to simplify this down to its smallest form. What I'm going to do is I can think of 8 as being 2 times 4. And I can think of 10 as being 2 times 5. Those are some math facts that I just learned and I know. And when I find that it has a common math fact, I see they both have 2 on the top and bottom, I can just cancel those out. And so I'm left with 4/5. So 8/10 is equal to 4/5. Make sure you're writing down this whole equation, this whole problem. Pause here if you need to copy this down. Here's a second example. Make sure you're writing this down. I'm going to look at my factors again for each of these numbers, and I know that 4 is equal to 2 times 2. And I know that 16 is equal to 2 times 8. So I can cancel that out, and I get 2 8s. But you might notice that it can be simplified even more. So I know that 2 8s, if I look at the numerator up here, I know that 2 is equal to 2 times 1, and I know that 8 is equal to 2 times 4. So I can cancel out my 2's and I get 1/4. Now a quicker way to do this is I might notice first that they share a different factor besides 2. And what I mean by that is 4 can also be written as 4 times 1, and 16 can be written as 4 times 4. And they each have a 4, so I'm going to cross that out, and I'm left with 1/4. The same answer, just a little bit quicker. Pause here if you need to write all of this down. Our next example is 2/12. I know, we'll just go with red. I know that 2 is equal to 2 times 1. And I know that 12 is equal to 2 times 6. It's helpful to realize too that both of these are even numbers, and even numbers always can do a factor of 2. So I'm going to cancel out my 2's, and I have 1/6 left. So that is equal to 1/6. Pause here if you need to write this down. My next example is 6/24. And right here, I might see that I know that 6 is equal to 2 times 3, and 24 is equal to 2 times 12. I can cancel those out. I get 3/12. But wait a minute, I can get even smaller than that. I might see that 3 is equal to 3 times 1, and 12 is equal to 3 times 4. They share another factor. So let's cross those out, and we get our answer as 1/4, so it equals 1/4. But again, I can do it even quicker if I know my math facts, because I will realize that both of these have a factor of 6. So I know that 6 is equal to 6 times 1, and I know 6 times 4 equals 24. If I cross that out, I get 1/4 again, which is the same answer we got. Pause here if you need to write this down. All right, I'm going to do 4/48 now. I see that they're both even numbers, so I might start with 2 as a factor and see how far that gets me. So I know that 4 is equal to 2 times 2. And 48 is equal to 2 times 24. I cancel those out. And I have 2 over 24. I see another factor of 2 in both of these, so I'm going to keep going. I know that 2 is equal to 2 times 1, and I know that 2 times 12 equals 24, so I have 1/12. This is equal to 1/12. Again, if I know my math facts, I can go even quicker. I can see that they both have a factor of 4. So I know that 4 is also 4 times 1. And I know that 4 times 12 is 48. When I cancel out my 4's, I get 1/12 again. Okay, we've used a lot of 2's. Make sure you can go back and pause or rewind if you need to keep looking at that. But what happens if you have a factor or you have a numerator or denominator that does not have a factor of 2? I see 21. 2 will not go nicely into that. But because I know my math facts, I know that 3 will. And I also know that 3 will go into 6. So let's see what we get with 3. So we know that 6 is equal to 3 times 2. And we know 3 times 7 is 21. So my answer, after I cancel out the 3's, is going to be 2/7. All right, make sure you've written all of this down in your journal, and have a great rest of your day.